Nah.
Exciting.
Here we go.
Live. Rocking and rolling.
Now we're live.
Now we're live.
Yeah, okay.
So, sorry. Welcome to Dope or Nope. We do this every Thursday, 3 p.m. EST. Our illustrious panel, Lauren Padman, just below me, which is a vice president. Do you run the place yet?
I'm vice president. Thank you for asking.
All right. Vice president of Dimmock Records, just checking. And he will also sub as our studio aficionado today. Nick is still eating a plethora of Italian things.
Italian food.
Wow.
Yes.
Dude, you see his posts are crazy. But he'll be back, I think, next week. Yep. John McDaniel on my side, right here. This guy spent over 30 years programming C89.5 in Seattle. Wow. The longest running dance station in this United States, maybe.
Incredible.
The world. I'm not really sure. I would have to check, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Probably the world.
I think you were there when they hit Plymouth Rock, maybe. Not you personally.
Right before they invented
but the
electricity.
Station. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then, of course, Raquel Goldie. Now, so she's an on-air host at Globalization. Friday, 10 a.m. You can catch her there on Vinny's Vibes. You can catch her every other week on Sirius Hits 1. Are you on this week or next? This Sunday?
This Sunday, yes. 5 p.m.
This Sunday, what time?
5 p.m. EST.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Yes.
If you are looking also for some social media help, you can ask her your questions. She is all over it. K-pop, I mean, she's got all that going on. In fact, in a couple of weeks, she'll be leaving for a month.
Wow.
Headed to Japan and Korea, which I'll be happy/sad about because, she's just not going to be here. And it's a little bit of a bummer. So
you guys will be getting all the updates, though. Don't worry, like last time.
Yeah, of course. That part's exciting, right? And also, what's the show you do on AMP?
Oh, K-pop with Rock every Friday at 12 p.m. EST.
Wow. Busyness right there.
Yes.
So, if you are curious where to send your demos, if you're seeing this for the first time and passing by, dopeornopemusic.com. That's where you drop off your demos. We have, I think, about a baker's dozen. Does anyone know the difference? Of demos to do today. No? Do we know the difference?
Baker's dozen is one more.
Baker's dozen is 13.
It's 13.
Definitely didn't know that.
Because the baker would just eat the 13th one and still have a dozen to deliver.
Exactly. So let's start with the first demo. This one is from Benex, and this is called Playground, and you're listening to Dope or Nope.
Give it up, give my heart a break, 'cause I have had enough of these playground games. So give it up, no more second place for me, for me. Give it up, give my heart a break, 'cause I have had enough of these playground games. So give it up, no more second place for me, for me. Cause I have had enough of these playground games. So give it up, no more second place for me, for me.
Once again, that's Benex with Playground.
Damn.
Yeah, that was coming in a little hot at the beginning. Sorry about that.
I was okay with it. I think that it's funny where the beats probably have a little bit of distortion on them on purpose to make it sound like it's maximum energy.
Yeah, for sure.
And the way that you know that it's not hot from a production perspective is because the vocals are clean and they aren't pushing and they're not distorting. So the vocal was sitting really, really nicely in the mix, but everything else around it was pushed, I have to assume, on purpose. Really good. I liked it. I thought it was really good. And wouldn't you agree, Raquel? Haha.
I liked what I heard.
Right.
To
There you
begin
go.
with.
Yeah.
There was lightning here, and then I lost sound, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Lightning? What do you mean? What country are you in? How do you have a lightning?
It's raining.
Oh,
it's
what?
raining.
It's
yes.
summertime, right? How do you have a
It rains.
okay.
It rains and lightnings every day at about 3 to 4 p.m. in Florida.
Yep.
Fun
That's
fact.
how you set your time, right?
Miami.
Yeah.
Oh,
Florida
wow.
things.
Didn't know that.
The
Well,
more
that
you
it's
know.
yet-
The more
it's
you
yet-
know.
Yeah, exactly. Not a shock.
I
agree with you.
I really
nice.
love just one more thing. I really love that string that came in on the breakdown after the first drop. It just appeared, and it was a really high string, like a high cello, but with depth. So it didn't really sound like a violin. Very cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good. There's a lot going on in there.
I would agree with all those things. The one part, like which part of that is memorable? I can't find one.
Nothing. I wouldn't know how to share it. So there's no hook. There's no shareable hook for like, have you heard that new song? You know, the one that goes, you'll forget it. If that offends you, Raquel, just leave. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm feeling. Like I don't hear a hook, first of all, right in the song. So 100% the production's there, the beats are banging, the I like your absolutely where the vocal sits and how clean it is compared to like what's pushing past it or around it.
Yeah.
All those things. And I bought my head too, like Raquel is doing, but 10 minutes from now, what would I say? Yeah,
it's not shareable. We've been down this road a couple of times, and we're giving out expert advice when we're all like looking for a piece, and Nick had some really great stuff on production, and I just remember saying the hook is simply, have you heard that new song? You know, the one that goes like, whatever you sing or say with your voice, so it can't be crazy out of range for normal person's voice, then that's it, you're out. If you can't do it, then it's not shareable.
See, I caught the lyrics though. I liked the lyrics, so that was like the playground part. I was like, oh, that's like playground games. I was like, okay, true, relatable. And then like that part, I feel like this part, I feel like that I would be like, oh my god, did you hear that song? The one that goes like this.
Yeah, that goes like what? Sing whatever. What is it?
The playground, the one that has to do with playground games. Da da da. This part.
So you remember a lyric, but you don't remember how it sings. And I think the singing.
Well, to be fair, I didn't. See, but I like listen to lyrics. I think it depends on the person.
I know.
Right.
I know. I also don't listen to lyrics.
You listen too. I listen for lyrics, so it takes me longer.
True.
Yeah.
It takes me 2-3 times for sure. Oh, nice shake.
Like,
John,
I think
what do
it
you
could
got?
be good in the like. I think it would be good on radio. Like at least this part from what I heard. But like,
I kind of thought that too. Yeah, I'm like all of you. I really think the vocal was in the right place. Because we could really make out what she was saying, and once we hear it a couple of times, we might even sing along with it. Really good energy, and I liked just the chunky feel of it was really engaging immediately. So I liked it. And sometimes as far as hooks go with songs, it's a musical hook. It's you're building up to this thing, but it's not really a sing-along hook because it's really just the music that's the hook.
Right. It can be an instrument. It can be like
it's just not a traditional hook that you could identify.
But great job, Benix. Thank you for dropping that off.
Absolutely.
Let's hit this next one. Okay, Brux wants to play this this unofficial remix of something that is sure to get us dumped off of all the places we're now streaming on. But let's try it out. Name that song.
The shoes on heavy, the clothes I'm wearing, the shoes on heavy, the clothes I'm wearing, the shoes on heavy, the clothes I'm wearing, the shoes on heavy, the clothes I'm wearing.
That is Brooks doing some of her specialty technical work. Wow. Destiny's Child, Independent Woman, in case you didn't catch that coming around. She is such a technician. It's like, wow. I don't know.
I love that.
I like this a lot.
Come on now. I didn't want to jump in and gush because, you know, Australian and all that.
Because she's Australian? Okay.
Yeah. She's Australian.
No, I love that.
She is.
Does anyone have any comments? Because I'll go.
Let me just say that I think it'd be really good for radio mix shows because it's just familiar enough, but also different enough to sort of be an interesting thing on a mixed playlist. So that's all I have to say. I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yep. I think that I actually have some constructive criticism here for Brooks. I would just simply say that the bass, the buzz in the bass felt like it was, it's also got some white noise on it. It's like purposely pushing like almost like you're pushing air down a straw sort of thing. So you're getting that little wind sound that's on top of the bass that buzzes. And I think it's everything Brooks does is very purposeful. So I'm not saying that anything's a mistake. I would think that it would sound cleaner if that sound was down a little bit because it seems to be sucking away from the mids. The mid-range in that one felt a little muffled to me, which is different than other mixes that we've heard from her before. And the vocal is also a little buried in the mix, which I think is cool. I think that's the idea. I'm very confident, 95% sure that it's on purpose that she's put it down in the mix to sort of make it cool. And I think that's a lot of like indie dance songs. The vocal is back in the mix, whereas
absolutely
anything more pop is forward. So I think she's making very conscious decisions in there. And for my taste, I would love to hear the vocal up a dB or so, a little bit. And I would love to hear the mid-range as being a little bit clearer. And I think the bass needs to have the aggression, but it just needs to have that interference in the mid-range white noise lowered. That would be my thinking. But outside of that, it's fantastic, standard, high-level, A+ Brooks work.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else?
It's great. Please get it to every DJ who plays this type of music out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, that's a free download on SoundCloud.
Please, everyone download it if you play like bars and clubs.
Want a link for that. All right, next up is Z Major. This is called Off Your Face, featuring Lindsay Moore, right here on Doper Note.
I'm not from here, it's kinda cold. I'm getting bored, you're getting old. The beat is up, so let's get down. Grab my hand, get out of town. The beat get down.
Didn't we do this last week?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We heard this.
All right, cool. Did we
Got a ton of
do?
feedback on it.
Yeah, I think we did the Z major and we did merger too, right? Heartstorm, or is this a new one?
All right, man. You're telling the story.
I blocked some of these off, but it. Did we do this one last week? Yes. Okay. We did merger. All right, let's go with.
I have to tell you. Maybe because
Bad.
it's nice.
What's that?
I said the last one sounds nice because it sounds familiar, probably.
Yeah, the Hearts merger. It's called Heartstorm. We did that one last week, and we also did the Z major.
Got it.
So let's go with Bad Monkey, and this one is called Drip. Kind of feel like we did this too.
Drip, drip, drip. Drip, drip, drip. Know you wanna sip, sip, sip. Body gonna make you hit. Pussy gonna make you drip. Drip, drip, drip. Know you wanna sip, sip, sip. Body gonna make you hit. Pussy gonna make you drip. Drip, drip, drip. Sip, sip, sip. Drip, drip, drip. Sip, sip, sip. Drip, drip, drip. Sip, sip, sip. Drip.
That is a very typically Bad Monkey style right there. That is called Drip, in case you didn't get the message.
I love this guy. So good.
I'd like to go first.
Just so great. I love it. I'm such a fan of this kind of energy. It's got just, it's not cheesy. It's not trying to be too cool. It's trying to be right down the middle. It's fun. It's got darkness to it and energetic beats and bass line. It's great. Overall, it's a really nice song.
Yeah, I agree. Do we have bells yet? I didn't bring one.
I don't have bells. I can't do it. Every time last week I was doing bells with a glass. And
how's that?
There you go, that'll work. It's like a gong, really. It's like a gong.
cowbell.
Like, I was doing them last week with my finger, and then at tennis later that night, I'm like, what's wrong with my hand? Why does my forehand just feel so tight?
And you're like, oh yeah, the bell.
Oh yeah, it's the damn bell.
You were the bell player last week.
Yeah.
I really like the track too. By the way, like you said, it's not trying to be something that it isn't. It's there, and I think it's really approachable by anybody who kind of likes this kind of music.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job not doing too much, not trying to turn it into something else. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very clean too. On top of that. Raquel, any thoughts?
I really liked it. I thought it was a little spicy, which we love every now and again. I did think that there was one part though that needed like a little bit more connection. I don't know. It's like something that needs to be connected going into another part, but it's good. Again, I think if this is the type of music you're trying to make, this is what you want to listen to, then this is great.
Yeah. Then this is that definition. Absolutely. I think I found so it's Baby Rattle.
Oh, love.
It's
a bell.
It is Bell. All right. So that was Bad Monkey, and that was called Drip. Mesa and Boss. Let me know if I feel like I've seen this too. I played something from them last week. This is called Believe, and this is the cinematic edit, and this is Dope or Nope.
Come on.
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Man.
I think
That's right.
I think Lauren's hair got a little taller on that.
Yeah, it really did.
Just right there. So this is
It
my
really did. Yeah,
Give me
I
the
take all
bell.
the bells.
Give me the
I
bell.
take all the bells.
2 and 3
Yeah.
I'll take one.
and a big 4. There it is.
Four bells.
That's-
What a record.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the answer to that one.
I accidentally didn't realize it was on mute, and I was like fully in the zone. And I'm like, oh yeah, here it comes. Fucking come on now. This is the. And then I'm like, whoops, not on mute. Not on mute.
That's fine. It honestly added because I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like
that was-
totally expecting the drop. I'm like, come on, here it is. Let's go. Like it just sort of it felt like a very, very big record. The epicness of the builds really
You took
just
my word.
Yeah, you may use it again. It's
Okay, I might.
It's great. It's really great. What do you think, JB?
Yeah, what an epic track. You really absolutely stole the word that I was going to use. But yeah, I mean that whole intro, the way it started is very dramatic, and and just where it takes you was just a really nice place. So yeah, I get it, and that's why 4 bells.
Yeah.
Right,
How about
exactly.
anthemic? You can take that word instead. How's that? Anthemic.
Which one?
Anthemic. It's anthemic.
I thought you said pandemic. I'm like,
I was like,
I
what?
think someone else is using that.
Very
Right.
pandemic.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
I'm
one's
sure
out.
some people did feel that way.
Raquel.
I feel
This
like
is fucking
go ahead.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
so
there it is.
good.
There it
It's
is.
so. I feel like if you were in space having a
Yeah.
rager, this would be it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And this is what it would sound like. I honestly am like, is this the best song we've ever had submitted to Dope or Nope? It is so good.
wow, that's big. That's
It's
big.
big.
just
That's
like-
big.
It's just like great and done so well and doesn't sound cheesy, and we're not like, well, but if we carried this over and blah blah blah. Like, it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
it's epic.
No, there's nothing to say. Like, and 2 very different, sounds. Like this section in the middle where it's just like okay, now I'm at, now I'm at ASOT, right?
Yeah.
And then when that thing kicks in, I'm over in Love Parade in Berlin. Like that's what it
Yeah.
feels like. And 2 very different places, clearly.
Yeah.
But yet connected.
Can you back announce that one for everybody, because it's like arguably one of the best tracks that we've heard.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, look, everyone's like, hey, can you send that over?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is Mesa and Boss, and that song is called Believe. That's a cinematic edit. Well
Yes, it
named,
is.
by the way. Yeah, 100%. When you
great.
listen to that, I think I'm in also like I'm in a 3D,
Movie.
HD movie theater, and like this, the lights could be out, like, but that kind of feeling where you're not listening to it, you're in it, and I think that's what this feels like to me. Even off of one ear, like I get that feeling. So super cool. Well done, guys.
Wow. I'll be in touch.
Amazing.
There it is. All right, next demo. This is by Barkin, and this is called Touch Me. I don't know what he's talking about, but this is Dope or Nope. Here we go.
Touch me right. I like it right there. Touch me right here. Touch me right there. Touch me right here. And I like it right there. Touch me right. 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 I like it right there. Do you feel? I like it right there. You know, I like it. Do you feel? Then higher, 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 and higher. Touch me right. 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 I like it right there.
So I don't listen to this stuff beforehand, so I didn't plan those two things next to each other, and in a little way, I felt a little bad coming off of Mesa and Boss. I was like, boy, tough spot to follow that one. And yeah, well done, Barkin. I was going to pull back earlier, but I kind of wanted her to finish. Like in the same way, like completely banging. Like if this is your vibe, if this is the club you're going to, you're going to hear this. Like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
I literally was
actually
like,
gonna-
I don't know how we're gonna come off that one, but and then it happened, and I was
Yeah.
like, is this what happens when I miss a week? We come back and it's epic
Yeah.
music. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, substantial.
Exactly what happens. Actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
I was just going to say that drop goes really hard. And how about some frenetic energy, anyone? How about all of that? I mean, it was just like, wow. I couldn't
Yeah.
stop bobbing my head. So
Yeah, that was
Really fun.
great. Hess, you said it really well when you said if you're going to a club to listen to music like this, you would be guaranteed to hear this song because a DJ would want to play it in that environment for sure. If I was playing like a set like this somewhere, for sure I'd want to be putting this record in because I know it's going to work. It's going to
Right.
crush.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, both of those, because it's the same kind of like drill down into your head. I don't know which one I do first, actually, come to think of it, but I don't know. But yeah, just, there's not much else to say about that. It is just a hammer, and that's That's like this is you pull one of these songs out like at that time of the night when you just want to smash people into the ground a little bit, and then maybe give them some relief and let them go have a drink, after this. But yeah, good stuff. Nice well done, Parkin. Let's do one more and then we'll get on today's topic, which is music industry struggle bus. See how that goes. This is Anili, and this is called One on Dope or Note. That's Anili with One.
I really like the melodies a lot. I think there's a lot of good melodies in there. My only advice would be there's potentially one or two too many melodies, and they're competing for space, as is also the synth. The synths that they're being used, there's so many of them and they're so wide, they're all basically like landing on each other and taking up each other's space. They're not supporting, they're kind of interfering a little bit. And I think if you take the width off and then you went through them and just started muting a couple and figuring out which one to take out that will still make the song feel big and epic and anthemic, you'd probably achieve the same result without making it sound at the moment quite washed out. Right. That's my advice on how to fix it. But the melodies are really strong. What do you think there, Raquel?
I was going to say, I feel like it did get a little bit muddy at one point with that, but I also wanted to ask, did a movie come out that inspired all this huge cinematic music that I am not aware of? Because the 3 tracks together is a movie in itself. But exactly. I think if we, what you said, Lauren, make it less muddy and you can figure out the different things, then we'll be good to go and they'll be in a better path.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Make it sparkle a little bit, basically.
Add some glitter.
Instead of sounding
again, this is always sort of hard to do for me, like just like listen in one ear. But that's on this side of loopback, that's how I have to do it. So to me, sometimes these things sound, I want to use the word thin, a little bit. And I can't tell if that was just because I'm not hearing it in stereo necessarily, or if it was just thin. But I did like the melody and the vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. That's Anili with One. You guys want to talk a little bit about our topic today?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So what we were thinking about today was, you know, and it's also sort of in alignment with the show, is how hard the music industry can be, or is, period, right? So, you know, a lot of times we post things on Instagram where you see stuff from other DJs, or I might see things from other artists, and like, shit, why are we not doing that? Or why is that not happening for the artists I'm working with, and so on and so forth. When, you know, that next miracle could be just around the corner, right? Because we hear these songs like this, and we're like, these people are so talented, and it's really just a matter of, you know, lifting all of us, lifting each other up a little bit. I know I had like a lot of struggle early on, and even, you know, I got through a lot of stuff, but before, when I was an actual DJ, like in 89 or prior, because I started DJing in like 87 perhaps. In fact, I didn't even use a 1200, I used the 1100, which I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. Instead of like the bar, it had a plus or minus sign, and if you wanted to go a little faster, you had to sit there and like hit the plus sign until you got it, and then hold the plate and then back it up. It was like ridiculous. So pre-1200s. But that was my passion. I was in school, I DJ'd. I was probably working 4 other jobs together, 2 more on the weekends just to do that. You know, it's kind of, that's what I had to do, you know? And I just kept DJing, and I ran a record shop for a long time, and that was how I did it. And I never thought like, oh, I'm like the DJ, you know, when I finally got like 1200s and I was able to play, you know, on 3 and like, you know, really have a residency in Connecticut where I live. I was very happy about that, but I never thought like this is my career. Music was my vocation, so to speak. And it ended up being something I never expected through, you know, working with other labels and doing the same stuff I do today. You know, I got promos and I handed it off to like pre-mix show. We didn't even have mix shows yet at radio. Like none of this was designed, but there were people who were playing things, and I was able to get them some songs, and some things broke, and that's how I got recognized by Arista, and I eventually went to an interview and got hired. So, but that was never my goal, right? I was totally fine doing what I was doing. So sometimes like there's a knock on the door that you don't expect, and it might be the one that pulls you through to what could possibly be your purpose, right? I don't know, you guys have, you know, probably similar stories, right? I think we've all had, you know, the struggle.
Interesting. Raquel. Raquel's on mute, seemingly.
I was gonna say we're still struggling, you know. It's fine.
Yeah,
being a female in the industry is very difficult. It's something that's I've talked to you guys about privately, and just different things that you have to continuously prove yourself even harder, even more. I've talked to Elena Leon about this a ton actually recently, because things keep coming up, but it's really hard. And one thing especially that I saw living in LA is everyone is so good at faking it. We talk so much about social media, especially with me, you know, basically having my own social media agency at this point, and social media is fake. People are only posting the good stuff on social media, so just know that you aren't alone. And I find myself a lot having kind of imposter syndrome, I feel like, and being like, there's so much struggle going on behind the scenes, and obviously I'm not going to post that because no one's posting that, and you want to be real but you want to be fake, and it's just like very confusing and gets stressful at sometimes. Right. But just like find a good group of people around you and have some mentors that you can talk to things about, because otherwise you will drive yourself insane, and it's going to just make you not necessarily love the industry that you love so much. I've found that I've had to take a step back a lot and just really, is this something I want to do and continue doing? Is this something I don't want to do? And it's just all about perspective and talking through things and knowing that you're not alone. I mean, I just had this conversation, I feel like a week ago, with a couple of my friends who are working in the industry. So just know that it's an uphill battle, but Absolutely. If you love it, you got to put the work into it, and you're going to work hard and work for free, and some fucked up shit's going to happen in between, but that's when you make the decision if you want to continuously keep working in the industry or change. And, you know, that's for only you to decide, but you've got to weigh out those options.
JB, hit it.
Yeah, well, you know, I got into the industry through our high school radio station, which was the radio station I ended up programming for 3 decades. So I just loved the music, kind of like George. You know, this is what was driving him, and so I just stayed at the station until something developed for me. I was a volunteer, and then they brought me on as a music director, and thankfully, you know, even though it's a major market, they let me learn, you know, kind of as I went, and I didn't have, you know, a lot of interference from my boss. So that's good. And then, but just as I went on in this position, I met people, you know, went to conferences and would meet people. It's really all about the connections that you can make when you're here, that will help you once, you know, you're trying to move on or do something else. So yeah, it's a struggle. Like, I mean, for instance, I got laid off of my record label job back at the end of June, and it wasn't because I'm super crap at promoting records. It was because they just couldn't afford to fund the position anymore. They were, you know, scaling back and trying to save money, which, I mean, I can't blame them for that. So
right.
So yeah, I mean, the struggle is real, and it's also still going on. So
Fascinating stuff. It's really interesting hearing all this. My version, when you said struggle bus, I've had multiple instances of that, I guess, in my career, where I remember being, I was escorting a very famous vocalist through a nightclub in Melbourne. We didn't have a back entry, went through the front, and on the way through to the side of stage and all that kind of stuff, I was stopped, she was stopped. We, many times, we got to the back and she said, "How are you? You know, like, but tell me really, how are you?" And I was like, "Hey, you know, I thought my DJing career would have been bigger by now, and I would have been doing more things, and I had bigger goals set for myself and stuff." And she reminded me that I was stopped more than she was stopped, on the way through to the green room. Okay. And all of the people who were stopping me were, you know, very young 20s, and she said, if you were, like, she said, look, the way that those kids were talking to you and looking at you, what would the 22-year-old version of you be thinking of where you are right now? And that gave me incredible perspective, because I was like, oh yeah, right. I guess I wouldn't have even dreamed that I was, you know, running a record label and signing and discovering Avicii with my best friends, John Courts and Andy Van, and DJing all over Australia and whatever else. So, like, my goals just kept on drifting out without me realizing that I was actually in a moment of gratitude, but just simply not being grateful for it or even recognizing it. And that was really helpful. And then fast forward another 5 years or so, I remember thinking to myself, I don't know what to do now. I'm not sure what I should do. And then I get offered this position at Dim Mak Records. Once you come out to America and help run the label and be the vice president, and I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. I suppose I might try that. I know everybody else was telling me, oh, we're trying to get to America. We're trying to get our visas. We're trying to do all this stuff. And you're basically being offered this opportunity. Yeah. I'm like, okay, great. So I've been in what I would call like an ongoing state of trying to figure out what I should do with myself when I grow up, because I still don't quite know what that is. And I've landed on do what I can do to help others, do what I can do that comes easy for me and that is hard for others, because then there's value in it for the other person. And if there's value, wherever there is value, there's hopefully payment or money or position or something, ongoing work. And if you enjoy it, then it doesn't feel like work at all. And I don't think that I've really had too many days of actual work in my life, because I'm just constantly doing things which are fun and enjoyable. And sure, it's difficult and it's laborious and the lists are long and things, but if you're enjoying doing it, you keep comparing it to what else you could be doing to make money and to pay the rent, and you're instantly grateful. Like, I grew up as a farmer, so imagine what I could be doing instead of all this. Like, right. I wouldn't have soft city hands anymore, that's for sure, you know? I wouldn't have keyboard typing hands. I'd have like really, I don't know whether my body would even take it. So I'm very grateful constantly of like where I am and the fact that I get to enjoy stuff and hopefully help and assist other people achieve their dreams. And that's awesome for me. So that's how to overcome the struggle bus, I think, is to look at it as the glass is half full. How can you serve? How can you create? What can you do that you enjoy? What's easy for you, hard for others? And you'll be able to find success.
Absolutely. I think just in closing, the difference for me, when I post the videos or we talk about these things on, here or amongst ourselves or on Instagram, I was talking to Jamie about it this morning actually while we were walking. I was like, sometimes the sharing of whatever shit is in my head on Instagram, is not the easiest thing for me. Like I took me the second half of my career to actually kind of get into, be comfortable with public speaking a little bit and a lot of what we do here. But the difference between like feeling gratitude and sitting in this place of service, which is what you're talking about, and imposter syndrome is just that. That's the gap between those two things. It's not if people want to, you're like, who's actually cares what I have to say? Who actually cares what I do? Blah, blah, blah. All this, that's all bullshit, right? Because if you have gotten to a place where you have some talents or you're trying, you're working on things, you may possibly know something that someone else doesn't. And if you don't share, then that will never come out, right? So if you don't share about it, and every time I think, and I was saying this to Jamie too, I was like, every time I like lean into that tiny bit of imposter syndrome, I get a DM from someone who said, the exact same thing, I went through this. And how did it break? How did it break for you? What was your turning point in it? And my answer is always gratitude, because that is the only thing that works for me. And to be of service, right? And for me to keep doing what I do, I have to give it away. Like I have to.
Yeah.
That's the only way it works. And doing the thing that we do every Thursday,
Yeah, man.
So for anyone who's like,
go
ahead.
I think too, even if you're having these thoughts, imposter syndrome, anything, I should be doing this, whatever, just know that it's not a moment of weakness. Everyone goes through it, and everyone has different seasons of their lives, and that's something that I've definitely learned from moving again and coming back and just doing everything. When I was let go from Revolution in Miami, that was like the biggest job of my career so far, and I was like, what if I never have something like that again? And then I got the opportunity to be on SiriusXM. So you never know how things happen, and everyone goes through ups and downs, and that's just life. So just keep trucking through it.
Right. And if you really want, like, throw down, double down when it feels like really shitty and really, really hard. I double down. I'm like, I sit back a little bit. I'm like, how can I get through this with, no resentment, no animosity, none of those kind of things, and the right intentions, right? But I double down on my efforts or whatever I'm doing, and not with like, F everybody and blah, blah, blah. Like, not double down that way. Like, double down, how can I help? And that might be an answer for you. So there you have it. That's today's topic. Thank you guys for sharing. So anyone out there who is feeling like this is super hard, it is. Keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Yep, you're right.
It's very hard.
It's very hard.
As you were. Please continue.
Yeah. All right. So next one is from Friend Zone, and this is called From the Start. And this is Friend Zone. Yeah, and Naomi Wild. Shall we go? This is Dope or Nope. Here we go.
Right where you left me.
What do you guys think?
I'm still head bobbing to it, so.
Right. There must be something to
How
it.
long did it take to get into the drop?
Okay, so yes. And I saw Lauren ask that question too. So right here is 1 minute. This is still a minute. So it's like a minute 27.
Minute and 30. Got it.
Yeah.
1.5 minutes. That's like a whole song.
Right.
It
So
is.
I've literally seen a song with 2 drops done and dusted and out in a minute 40.
Right, so
minute and
to
a
be-
half of ballad. Come on now.
to be transparent, the entire piece is 4:30. Definitely could be getting to the point sooner.
Yeah.
Though it was a lovely intro, right? So there was nothing like wrong with it, or in my opinion, also not boring. I just felt like in today's world, you gotta get to the story. You gotta get to the meat.
Yeah. So I was actually texting with Friendzone earlier today because you may remember many weeks ago, we played a Friendzone record that had a vocal from Linny on it.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
literally releasing it on Dimmac this month.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
I just sent them and Lenny this morning the final version from Mix and Master, and it sounds unbelievable. These kids are just phenomenal creatives. The melodies are amazing. All of it's really good. It feels epic and it feels big. And this particular song does all of those things, but it sounds like a ballad that's meterless. I want people to pay attention to that term, meterless. I only learned it a couple of years ago, really, and assigned it to EDM. If something doesn't have an actual beat or a dance floor to dance to, then it is not a dance song. And this song does not have anything which really resembles a meter until the final 15 seconds before the drop as it builds, which means that everybody is forced to dance like they are trees. Just
Right.
no movement in the
Waiting
legs.
for the drop.
Just waiting for the drop for an hour, like an hour and a half.
Right.
It's a lot, a minute and a half in this instance. So yeah, I mean, if I was A&Ring this thing, I'd be figuring out what we're all thinking and saying, which is beautiful song, great melodies. How do you put a click in? How do you put a low pass kick in? How do you cut out a lot of that stuff and leave it for the second verse? Because you could halve it and you wouldn't miss it. So
I'm constantly having this conversation with artists when I'm handed records to go to radio. Constantly. I'm like, guys, I get it. I'm in the studio. I have those lovely, lush speakers. I'm in it. And like a minute doesn't sound like a minute. It's just like a 1 second.
Magical place.
Out here, in real life, 1
Yeah.
minute is like
Eternity.
literally an eternity, right?
Yeah.
So, some songs are designed even for like, a festival where it's like the drama needs to happen to make the thing out there happen, and it's great. But you can't, and don't edit that to make a radio edit. Mix it differently for the radio, right? So
Yeah.
you got to bring things in earlier, like Lauren's saying. You got to really you got to wear a different hat. In fact, I would suggest giving it to someone else to do,
right,
who does that professionally, makes
Right.
radio edits or mixes.
Yep.
That would be my suggestion. John, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, coming from the radio world, you really want to get to the meat of the song faster. Otherwise, as a radio programmer, you're risking people tuning out because they're not going to wait around for it. They're going to look for something else. So, kind of echoing all of your guys' comments, yeah, as far as it goes, I mean, I think this is a great version. It's complete. Nothing is really extra there. But I think if you were going to go to radio with it, you'd have to focus it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Or even like streaming. So like, don't count that out, right? Because the short stuff at streaming really abbreviates the story you want to tell, how you want to tell it. So you just have to tell the same story in, your elevator pitch, if you will.
Yeah, the elevator mix.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, by the way, this is Dope or Nope. We do it every Thursday at 3 p.m. John McDaniel, if you don't know him, speaking of a guy who could like help you with radio edits right here, that dude. He did 30 years of programming C889.5, which is the longest running dance station in the U.S. and also a teaching radio station where they take students from the school and put them on the air and, give them a little run around the park, if you will.
And that's in
It's a public station as well.
What's
It's
that?
a public station and it's in Seattle. You say C89.5, and I don't know whether that means much to 1,000 million people around the world who don't live in Seattle at all.
Look it up, man.
C89.5.
Stream that station. It's lovely.
It's an amazing record.
Raquel Goldie is on-air host, social media expert, K-pop expert, and many more things, but certainly there. Also, she does one hell of an interview. When did the Lena interview, did that run last Friday?
No, so that's for my YouTube channel. I actually have to edit that.
Oh, amazing. I can't wait to see that. We love Lena also.
It went very well, so.
That's awesome. Lauren Padman, Vice President of Democ Records, and a real studio aficionado. And I'm Hess. I do some radio promo. I know a little bit about edits, and I've been around riding, getting on and off the struggle bus my entire career since well before the 80s. So, shall we do one more?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a regular, Rimnez. This is called Check the Bass. And
Shall do.
Here we go. That's one hell of a pressure track. Lauren,
there needs to be space.
What kind of space?
Space before. Okay, well, first of all, here's this. Look at me. I need space before the drop because then it's going to build even more anticipation for the drop. And then the whole part before the vocal starts getting in, I like kind of tuned out. I honestly was like, okay, it's the same thing. So I feel like if you got into that part faster and then had space and then the drop was even more epic, we'd be like, that's what I have to say.
Interesting. Good. JB, what do you think?
Well, I was going to ask, is this what you would call a pressure track? Because I was feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
It just kept building and building and building. It's like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
But the song itself is pretty fun. I could see dancing somewhere to this. It probably doesn't make sense maybe for a radio mix show. But yeah, I mean, the groove is fun. So, but there's a lot of pressure there. So
yeah. So I know exactly the kind of room that I've seen this kind of song played in before in Australia through my DJing years. This is absolutely the perfect pressure track. Can you imagine that? Say hypothetically, imagine this, Raquel, that you're in a club that holds maybe let's call it 1,000 people, right? It's one big room, let's say, and it's got like multiple steps, levels to it, sort of thing. But everyone's like in a pit, sort of thing. Let's call it. It's a 1,000-person room. I'm imagining this place called the Prince of Wales in Melbourne that used to run as One Love, and Tiesto is coming on in a very small room where he normally plays festivals, but he's coming on and everyone knows about it for 2 months before, and everyone's got their tickets and whatever else. And the DJ before isn't trying to upstage him, so he's not playing any vocals, and he's just trying to like keep the energy up and pumped and vibe and interesting. And then when finally this song happens, and then as it hits a breakdown, the guy gets on the microphone and says, or girl in this case, because it will probably be you, introducing the big DJ and saying the, welcome to the stage. People are going to lose their mind. This is the perfect pressure track for a massive DJ where anticipation's already in the room and everyone's just nervously bouncing and kind of dancing anyways. Can't wait, but you don't want to give them that all-out drop, and you don't want to give them that payoff. So there is no payoff in this song on purpose. That's what makes it an epic pressure track, in my opinion. Hess.
So I think it's really interesting. So yes to all that, right? I really thought that first little pause where it was kind of like almost like a gun click where it goes into that one pickup there was really interesting. I like the way that kind of came in. I like the idea for this purpose, for what it's built for, that it doesn't have sort of an overwhelming or even much of a melody to speak of, right? So it's just like it's pushing down on the dance floor, and it's not trying to take you anywhere. It's just trying to beat you up a little bit, and that's really sort of the goal for some of these. And coming out of this track, you go into maybe a big vocal, something without a track at the beginning of it. So you've just pressurized them and then you release it.
Yeah.
Right. And this is exactly that scenario that you spoke about. It would be easy to come be the next DJ after a track like this, and that's its sole purpose, right? So for that, I'm gonna do this. Because I feel like it has a design and it did exactly what it said on the cover, right?
Yeah. Right.
So that's my vibe.
Yeah, I'd also add that a track like this is basically a staple track for all the dance DJs who are playing from around 2005 through 2009. It was all of this stuff, the 2-beat loop, very, very Axwell.
Right.
It was pre-Swedish House Mafia. It was just anything that does this is dun 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 dun. If you can get it all looped in that little 2-beat loop. Dirty South was doing it. Axwell was doing it. A lot of big Euro cool commercial, or not even commercial story, underground, I meant to say dance, was very much like this, looped up pressure thing with a little bit of vocal in the middle and then back at it again.
Yeah.
Running out a whole 4-bar melody was just not even considered at that point, honestly.
Yeah, you got to have a couple of those on your on your stick, on your hard drive, or whatever you're carrying around. I was thinking about I remember how I got in the struggle bus conversation this morning. So when I used to DJ, like when you were getting paid literally dirt, like, yeah, shut up and have a couple drinks. That was kind of occasionally. But in the meantime, I have 9 crates of records, 9, that I'm bringing with me to this gig so that I'm covered.
Wow.
Wherever this thing is going. However people make a left or a right turn, I have a couple of pieces from every era, disco, you name it. 9 crates that I have to load into my car, then into the club.
Yeah.
For like.
Then back to your car, and then home.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually eventually I had a car that was just for the gigs.
Wow.
Everything stayed in the trunk. I pulled it in the garage. I switched out the old stuff. And
Hess, you were also, I was doing the same gigs with 6 crates, but you were also playing for the whole night as well, right? That's the other thing that we're not mentioning here. It wasn't you coming on to play an hour set. You're playing by night.
Yeah, it was 9 to, I think Connecticut closed at 2 at the time.
Right.
So yeah, 9 to 2.
Try 9 till 5 in the morning every Friday and Saturday night. That was my life for about 3 or 4 years.
For dirt for a while. Yeah. Pretty fun.
Yeah. Fun. Super fun. Something great. I love it.
Right to the diner. Right to the diner afterwards.
Yeah. It was so weird. Like, I was always packing my sunglasses to go out at night. Like, my mom was like, why do you have sunglasses as you're leaving to go to the nightclub? I said, I'll need them. I'll be regretting this at 7 a.m. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been Dope or Nope. Thank you very much for joining us. John McDaniel, you'll be back next week. Raquel, are you in next week?
Yes.
Awesome. Lauren, you're around?
Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll have Nick back, so we'll have a 5-star.
Full house.
Yes.
Full house, exactly.
Full house.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to hug someone you love. It's never too late to tell them how you feel. So enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.